Hi, friends and teammates at Union Rescue Mission, supporters of URM. Just want to give you another update. Had a good call this morning from the doctor in charge of working with us from the Department of Public Health. She said we were nearing the end of this current battle, and that perhaps this week or next week we would have all negative tests at Union Rescue Mission. And she added she has never seen a group do a better job of battling a pandemic like Union Rescue Mission's team has. And I'd like to say, in my own words, never has a non-medical group become like a mini hospital in playing chess against this monster COVID-19 like our team has. With the help of the Department of Public Health, the Department of Public Health Services, we have fought a valiant battle. In fact, it appears that this monster COVID-19 is waning because of our persistence and effort and learning all we can and doing all we can to protect our guests. And just as a few examples, we so far have too many positive tests. Even one is too many. Any positive test has been a spear to our soul. Any fatality, any loss of a teammate or other has been like hitting us like a ton of bricks. But in comparison, we have had 100 positive cases, 75 or so with no symptoms. That's 10% of the original 1,000 under our roof. We immediately took steps to get our most vulnerable and frail out of harm's way with the county's help and the city's help, and LAHSA, Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, their help. So 10% of our total under our roof. When nearby, let's take the Navy's Mercy ship that showed up off the shores of Long Beach, was set up as a hospital for the non-coronavirus cases, non-COVID-19 cases, and yet COVID-19 hit it like a storm, and they had to abandon their initial mission and downsize to about 250 beds, from 1,000 to 250 beds. And they had to send their staff out to the area nursing homes to battle COVID-19. Also a nearby federal prison, 1,000 beds, over 600 have tested positive and still growing. And so somehow, miraculously, Union Rescue Mission's been able to take this on and keep the numbers at 10% of our total population. There was an erroneous article in the paper recently that said people are safer, according to the tests, alone in a tent on Skid Row. Our doctor, the same doctor this morning, and I think that Dr. Barbara Ferrer would agree that no, you're not safer in a tent alone on Skid Row, especially if you're not social distancing. Those statements were made in error because only 250 people have been tested on the streets of Skid Row. That's less than 10% of the people staying in tents on Skid Row. Some of our staff, including me, have tested a few times as housed people on the streets of Skid Row. We go out each week because our team gets tested every week. Our staff and our guests get tested every week. So Union Rescue Mission has 100 positives because we have universal testing, weekly universal testing. Everybody under our roof gets tested. There is no other universal testing going on at any other missions or shelters And there is no universal testing on the streets of Skid Row, as I said. Only 250 total tests so far in several weeks of the approximately 2,800 or more people who live on Skid Row. So any statement that less people in tents have tested positive on Skid Row than in Missions is suggesting an erroneous, especially scientific. It's not a scientific statement. The testing has not nearly been up to par with the Missions testing. And right after I wrote something and shared something with the station that put that news story out, unfortunately, regretfully, a 19-year-old man who was in an encampment in a tent in South LA, along with 2 others who were injured. A young man was killed by a car going over the curb and running over a man. So not only are you more likely, 25% likely to get COVID-19 if you stay on the streets, whereas 22% in a mission, but you're likely to suffer other illness and also violence and perhaps death, like happened in the car accident, or even homicide in a tent on the streets. So as I shared with my team today, our team today, missions are lifesavers. Our team, all of them are lifesavers, life changers. We're going to continue to do this work despite attacks from everywhere. The biggest attack coming from COVID-19. We have kept our eye on the ball, our eyes on the task at hand, which is battling COVID-19. We haven't let anybody distract us from that battle. We fought a valiant effort that we should be proud of and can be proud of. We're going to continue to fight that battle every day until we beat this thing. Our persistence, our teamwork has started this monster, ferocious monster, sputtering, at least for now. There are predictions that we'll be back in the fall, and we've learned many things, and we will be prepared if it comes back or when it comes back in the fall. But we're going to continue doing our good work. There's probably nowhere safer than a decompressed mission, now half the size we used to be, which will allow plenty of social distance. All the cleaning techniques that we've learned and taken, all the medical knowledge that we've learned will put us in a better shape for the next battle. But I can tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Couldn't have received greater praise than we did today from, I'll call her Dr. Maxine, who told us that we fought such a good battle against this that she should write it up on how to battle COVID-19. Can't thank you enough, team. You're the best. You are true champions. We couldn't have done this without all of our partners, Department of Public Health, Department of Public Health Services, LASA, the city, but most of all, our URM teammates and supporters, our donors, and all of you who've stepped up to give us masks, personal protective equipment, gloves, gowns, everything that you've given us, goggles. You've helped us step up and battle like never before. The biggest battle in nearly 129-year history of Union Rescue Mission. And you made it possible. Next week's another battle, perhaps another week after that. And then we can truly thank the Lord. With God, all things are possible. And thank you for being a part of that. God bless you. Thank you.